Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to my Patreons and channel members. You guys have been so supportive, and I really appreciate it. Also, I'm a little sick right now. I don't think I've got the COVIDs, but you have to excuse me on my reading today. And without further ado, I hope you enjoy this true DeepWeb horror story. I want to start this off by saying, I did not know what could happen when you look too far into the deep web. I had heard stories online about people getting their computers hacked, or finding online chat rooms with the most horrible stuff you can imagine. But a lot of people just say there's mostly drugs for sale, or open source webcam chats, or you can look at random people's webcams. My interest grew into a fascination as I spent the past couple weeks browsing videos on the deep web. Eventually I decided to try it out myself. I downloaded all the programs I needed to gain access, disabled my mic and webcam in the settings tab, and set up my own botnet just to be safe. The first site I came across was boring, just lots of discussion boards on how to make your own at-home shrooms. The next site was owned by a man of the name of Biggie Jones, and was dedicated to fetish videos of people getting stepped on. Some was extremely graphic, and I clicked off of it pretty fast. I had gone back to a list of links that would lead you down a rabbit hole of content. It was around 11 p.m. at this point, and I had school the next day, so I decided to call it a night. I turned off my computer and went to bed. I remember waking up the next day and my computer was on. I thought this was strange, but I didn't really think much about it, because sometimes my computer does an auto update, and it will turn on in the early mornings to do this, but usually goes into sleep mode when it's done. I went to school and things were pretty normal. Nothing too interesting besides a fight between some seniors that had got so out of hand the police were called out. I could not stop thinking about the deep web and what else could be on there. But I finished my day up, and after getting home and doing some chores, I got back online. The first thing I noticed was another program added to my desktop. I figured it must have been downloaded as well when I got all the other programs the other night to use the deep web. I did not care to open it and went on about checking my Twitter, Reddit, and other social medias. As I was doing this, a window pops open with a chat box. The name of the chat bot said, Biggie Jones. I remember that site I used the day prior had the same name as the owner. The text reads as followed. Hello, Kevin. I hope you enjoyed my website. I have given you a gift, but I can see you haven't opened it yet. My mouth was just left open as I read this. I immediately closed the chat and went to my control panel to delete the program that was added. After that, I did not see any chat box again. I figured a good PC check was needed, so I used my antivirus to do a full scan. After scanning my PC, it found nothing of interest, and I felt like I was in the clear. I got back on my computer and decided not to use the deep web again, because this was my personal computer, and I did not want to risk anything else. About 30 minutes passed and the same chat box pops open again. Kevin, I don't know why you didn't accept my gift. It is a bit rude when someone gives you something and you don't accept it. I will give you another chance, but this time you will open it. I minimized the window and there was an icon on my browser again. The logo was that of a smiley face with a single letter T on it. It's kind of hard to explain. I decided to just turn my computer off this time and reset my router, because I figured he must have found my IP address, and that is how he was able to network into my computer. By this point it was around 7 p.m, and my dad and mom wanted me to come downstairs for dinner. My dad asked if I was having trouble with the Wi-Fi, because he could not connect his work tablet to it. I just told him I had to reset it because the 5G network wasn't showing. We had dinner like usual and talked about our days. My dad works from home as a graphic designer, and my mom is a nurse. Unfortunately, we don't spend much time together, as we did when I was younger. After dinner was done, everyone headed to bed. I went back to my room upstairs. I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little curious about the chat box from earlier in the day. As they say, curiosity killed the cat. I went to my computer and turned it on. At first, it didn't want to boot up. I figured I really effed up, and he must have put a rat on my computer. For those of you who do not know what a rat is in computer talk, it's a program that lets him take control of everything. You can even change the BIOS settings if you really know what you're doing. But luckily, after some tricks, I knew how to get back on. Everything loaded up as usual, nothing too crazy just yet. But like earlier, the same chat box was up, with Biggie Jones' username, but also someone else's username as well. Their name was just a single letter, T, and it looked like T and Biggie were in the middle of a conversation. The conversation reads as follows. I know because I took a picture with my phone just in case anything happened. T started the conversation. There's not much more we can do. I don't really give a shit. You can see everything. I can, plus it's full access. Well, find his location, and let's send him a real gift. My stomach dropped when I read that last part. Not sure what they were talking about exactly. I went to turn my computer off when the screen lit up again. It was Biggie, and the next thing he typed really had me shitting bricks. I hope your day was good at school, Kevin. How was dinner with your family? I didn't know what to say until I looked up and saw my webcam light was on. I had disabled in the control panels and system settings, so I didn't think that they would have turned it back on. But that was on me for underestimating whoever this was. I knew that they could see me now, and they most likely had full control over my computer. And who knows what else. I just sat down at my desk at this point, pulling the plug for my webcam out of the case of my computer now, and I just typed back, "What do you want from me?" Biggie went on to say that he had given me a gift and how rude it was for me not to accept it again. I told him that I was sorry and I just used the DeepWeb for the first time, and I did not mean to interrupt whatever it was he was doing. There was no response for a while now. Just me sitting there at my desk without a clue as to what would happen next. Next thing I know is my phone's going off, and scared the shit out of me. I looked at it and it was a text message from an unknown number. In fact, it was a text from a phone number with only 4 numbers, 2231. The text said, "Kevin, do not play games with me anymore. I'm done playing with you and you won't like what happens if you lose." Now, I was not the smartest kid back then, and I did not want my parents involved, so I just turned my phone off. I didn't really use it for anything else besides YouTube, and getting on the hub every now and then. I went to bed and tried to keep my mind off of what had just happened. I was really scared for my own safety now. How the hell did this guy find my phone number? And now he had access to my computer, but my phone number is private. I don't have it linked to any of my social medias, and nobody besides my family has my number. I must have passed out because the next thing I know, I was waking up again, to the sounds of something hitting my window. Not really a loud hit, but more of a tap. Now keep in mind that my room is on the 2nd story of my house, and there's no trees outside by my window. Also, I live in a gated neighborhood with security at the gates 24/7. And I'm not sure if it's because I was half asleep still, or because if I wasn't sure if I was dreaming, but I got out of bed and looked out of my window. I immediately saw 2 things that woke me up immediately. First was what looked like a handprint on my window, but from the outside plane of glass. And second, there was a man sitting on the ground outside. It was too dark to see any details, but I could clearly see that he was much older. I would guess in his late 40s to maybe 50s. I'm not the best at guessing ages of people, but he did have long white hair. I was standing at my window for a long time trying to make out details about the guy, because I'd never seen him before. But when my eyes started to focus, I could see that he was making direct eye contact with me. He had not moved at all in the past 5 to 10 minutes of me standing there. And the way the light from the moon was shining in my room, you can clearly see me standing there, illuminated by the night sky. I jumped back in fear as I realized what was going on now. I was running to my mom and dad's room. When I got there, they were both gone. I had forgotten that my dad had to drop off my mom at work this night, because her other car was not working. I was freaking the F out now, and my phone was still turned off from earlier. so I ran back into my room to turn it on and call them. As I did this, I peeked out the corner of the window to see if the man was still there. To my utter shock, he was gone. It had only been about 30 seconds in between the time it took me to run from my parents' room and back to my own. I should also note that we have the Ring installed on the front of our house, and an additional camera in the back as well. My phone is synced to them as well as my parents', and we get notified if there's movement on either side, and it records a small clip before and after the interaction. My phone had alerted me now that there was something going on behind my house. When I turned on the app, I was met with his face, or as much as I could see in the front of the camera. He must have seen the lights on the camera activate, because he quickly turned around and walked away, out of the side of my house. I'm not sure what's more scary, the fact that he was trying to get in, or that he didn't seem very scared at all, and simply turned around and walked away like it was nothing. Next thing I know is my dad's calling me to tell me he had just seen someone in the backyard on his phone and was already on his way back home. I explained that I also saw the guy on my phone. I still didn't want to get in trouble over using the DeepWeb, so I left some details out. My dad had alerted the police as well from the app, and said to just stay put and make sure that all the doors were locked. The rest of the night was mellow, besides my dad getting home and being beyond scared and the police coming and taking a report on what I'd seen. I'm still not sure how he got past security, because there's 2 gates to the place, and both guards said that they never saw anyone come in between the hours of the potential break-in and the time the police came, besides an older woman who lived down the road from me, and my dad when he was speeding back home. I never got a text message or message again on my computer. It's been about 3 weeks now and everything seems to be normal again. Well, besides quarantine. I still watch videos about the deep web, but I don't think I'll ever use it again myself. And I don't recommend anyone else do it either. Hey friends, thanks for checking out today's video. If you haven't yet, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified when I drop a new video or stream. Also be sure to check out my video subscription, as I've hidden some links in there to some fun stuff, such as my Discord server, merch, and my social medias. And if you have a store of your own you would like featured on the channel, please send it to my email address, OriginalGenSen@gmail.com, like today's video, who was sent in from an anonymous subscriber. I hope everyone has a good night, and remember, keep it spooky.